evening, you're now with me, Henry Gui, for Tvs Nightline, and here are the headlines for tonight. Sarawak Governor Tun Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar emphasised the critical importance of honouring the invaluable services and sacrifices of former police officers and military veterans. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Aam took several factors into account before deciding to reappoint Tan Sri Aam Baki as the Chief Commissioner of the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission (MACC). Lawrence Wong was inaugurated as Singapore's new Prime Minister on Wednesday, succeeding Lee Hsien Loong, who retired after 20 years. Lawrence Wong was sworn in as Singapore's new Prime Minister on Wednesday, succeeding Lee Hsien Loong, who stepped down after 2 decades in office. Formerly serving as Deputy Prime Minister, Wong became the second individual outside the Lee family to lead the affluent nation when he was inaugurated at 8 p.m. The 51-year-old economist, educated in the US, is widely recognized as a proficient user of social media who adeptly managed the COVID-19 crisis while supervising the government's pandemic task force. He was first elected to Parliament in 2011 and quickly climbed through the ranks to hold various positions, including in the Defence and Education Ministries. Wong, who also held the position of Finance Minister, was designated as Lee's successor in 2022 from a fresh cohort of legislators from the People's Action Party (PAP), which has maintained uninterrupted rule since independence in 1965. The departing Prime Minister Lee's father, Lee Kuan Yew, served as Singapore's inaugural Prime Minister following its emergence as a sovereign state after a brief unsuccessful union with Malaysia. The resolute patriarch, who once expressed a preference for being feared rather than loved, supervised Singapore's evolution from a quiet British colonial outpost to a bustling financial centre in just over 3 decades. Now, Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim carefully considered several factors before deciding on the reappointment of Tan Sri Aam Baki as the Chief Commissioner of the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission (MACC). Communications Minister Fahmi Fadzil, also serving as the Unity Government spokesperson, addressed the issue. However, he refrained from delving into the specifics of these considerations, asserting that a non-governmental body questioning the appointment has the right to express their opinions.
Pihak C4 berhak untuk menyatakan pandangan itu. Masa yang sama, sudah pasti ada beberapa pertimbangan yang telah diberikan oleh Yang Berhormat Perdana Menteri dalam membuat keputusan ini.
Fahmi made these remarks in response to media questions regarding the Centre to Combat Corruption and Cronyism C4 Centre statement criticising Azam's reappointment. In the statement, C4 Centre reiterated its criticism in its media statement dated May 17, 2023, in response to Azam's previous reappointment, where the credibility and independence of MACC remain doubted as long as the appointment process of the Chief Commissioner is not reformed. C4 calls for greater momentum in implementing the widely discussed reforms to decentralise and democratise executive power. Azam was reinstated as the MACC Chief Commissioner for an additional year starting May 12. The Governor of Sarawak, Tun Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar, emphasised the critical importance of recognising the invaluable services and sacrifices of former police officers and military veterans. These dedicated individuals played pivotal roles during the emergency and communist confrontations from the 1950s to the late 1990s, contributing significantly to the safety and stability of Sarawak and the nation. Their steadfast commitment and bravery during this challenging time, Junaidi said, should never be forgotten and must be honoured throughout generations.
I minta state government to produce a medal untuk semua orang yang berkhidmat polis tentera yang berkhidmat masa emergency di Sarawak. Date back to 1952 apabila kapal Natu mati dibunuh. From that time on, from emergency berlaku, dan hingga Oktober 1990 to mark the last remnant of komunis keluar daripada hutan, all those people, dan medal dia diharap setahap dengan dapat duit dengan tentera, iaitu apa nama tadi, pingat jasa Malaysia, PJN, and then juga yang pingat jasa pahlawan negara, Polis, yang saya sendiri juga membuat.
He made these remarks at the Loyalty Bridge ceremony for senior retired police officers of Sarawak at Astana Negeri Sarawak on Wednesday. Among those present were former Deputy Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Muhammad Jamil Johari and the CEO of Sarawak State Masjid Charitable Trust Board, Dato' Abang Abdul Wahab Julai, along with more than 30 retired officers and members of the state police.
Sarawak Premier Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Aam Johari Tun Openg will deliver a speech at the Future Energy Asia 2024 conference in Bangkok, Thailand on May 17. Abang Johari is expected to share insights on the state's initiatives in green economic development and energy transition, as well as Sarawak's efforts towards sustainable energy through decarbonisation. The three-day conference, running from May 15 to May 17, will feature over 600 industry-leading speakers from various countries across 8 conferences with more than 300 sessions. The conference aims to find innovative solutions to tackle climate change challenges in an effort to drive the industry towards net zero. At the same time, it will set strategic initiatives in terms of policy making, investment opportunities, and new technologies in the carbon market. Meanwhile, more than 2,500 delegates are expected to attend, offering them the opportunity to gain perspectives from ministers, policymakers, and industry innovators on Asia's contributions to the global energy transition and its continued commitment to decarbonization in the region. Among the delegates from Sarawak will be the Minister of Utilities and Communications, Dato' Julaihi Nurawi, the Deputy Minister of Energy and Environmental Sustainability, Dato' Dr. Hazlan Hibni, and the State Secretary of Sarawak, Dato' Amar Muhammad Abu Bakar Marzuki. This just in, the allowance rate for state assemblymen adun have been increased to 450 ringgit for each day they attend the State Legislative Assembly Dun sitting. This will be the first time the allowance was revised in 42 years. Announced by the Premier Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Aam Johari Tun Openg, he hopes this will increase the morale to work harder to increase the economy of Sarawak.
Sitting allowance, $50, $50 ringgit. Sehari 50 ringgit. Ahli Parlimen 400. Jadi kita naik 50 ringgit lah, 450. Kita naik sitting allowance kita 450. Kita dah 18 hari dah tak? 16 hari. 8 days, 2 dia, session. 16. Okey lah. Lebih kurang totalnya buat $500 million lah. Okey lah, ada revenue sikit.
Abang Johari spoke during the backbenchers dinner held at Pullman Hotel earlier. At the same time, he also announced that the civil servant salary will also be increased, subject to revision by the federal government. He mauled on 13% increase, but will need further details on whether the salary revision will include either the lower or higher bracket.
Kerana KL saya dah beli final, saya dah buktikan. Because yang ada 13% across the board. So we do not know adakah higher bracket atau punya the higher bracket plus the low bracket ataupun low bracket banyak. So we need the detail. So that kita pun salary revision will be in line with federal, dan mungkin saya pada SS not lainnya slightly better than federal to our Sarawak civil servant.
The dinner also saw celebratory moments where all the distinguished guests celebrated the birthday of Minister in the Premier's Department, Dato' Sri John Siki Tayai, who turned 74 years old. And the Minister of Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Arts, Dato' Sri Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah, who turned 64 years old. Abang Johari also presented trophies and medals to the winners of the recently held Backbenchers 10-pin bowling competition 2024.
In a bid to support the rapid growth of the aviation industry in the state, Sarawak government plans to develop a new international airport in Kuching. Sarawak Premier Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Aam Baki Reappointment stated that with the acquisition of the Mars Wings airline, Sarawak is poised to become a key aviation hub in the ASEAN region.
Supported by a regulatory framework that promotes transparency, our ports and airports are vital drivers of regional development and global economic integration. With our comprehensive enhancement of intermodal transportation and logistics network, Sarawak is poised to become a pivotal regional hub for connectivity within ASEAN.
He further added that this plan aligns with the ASEAN Vision 2040, which aims to create an integrated and cohesive ASEAN economy. Meanwhile, when asked about funding for the new airport, he said his team would first discuss with Malaysia Airports Holdings Berhad whether they would be partners. He added that the new airport would be able to accommodate the existing Kuching International Airport, which has already exceeded its capacity and cannot handle the current traffic.
Bergantung kepada keupayaan dana.
What will happen to the existing airport then?
Of course.
The plan for it?
No, the question is the present airport is not enough. We have a new airport. Then we see what we are going to do with the old airport. It can become a private airport, private jet airport.
However, he mentioned that the location of the new airport has yet to be identified. He made these remarks while speaking to the media after the Sarawak Legislative Assembly meeting in Kuching on Wednesday. The Sarawak government welcomes the announcement by Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim regarding a salary increase of over 13% beginning this December. Sarawak Premier Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Aam Baki stated that a detailed study on this adjustment will be conducted to make it more competitive, in line with the duties and responsibilities of Sarawak's public servants, as well as the financial capacity of the Sarawak government.
Supported by a regulatory framework that promotes transparency, our ports and airports are vital drivers of regional development and global economic integration. With our comprehensive enhancement of intermodal transportation and logistics network, Sarawak is poised to become a pivotal regional hub for connectivity within ASEAN. InsyaAllah, saya akan mengumumkan hasil kajian ini dalam tempoh terdekat tertakluk kepada perincian detail pelarasan gaji yang akan dikeluarkan oleh Kerajaan Persekutuan yang dijangka diketahui hanya dalam bajet Persekutuan hujung tahun ini.
He said this in his winding up speech at the Dewan Undangan Negeri Dun, Sarawak on Wednesday. Abang Johari further added that the GPS government highly values the commitment and the sacrifices of all Sarawak public servants. Previously, Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim unveiled a salary hike exceeding 13% for civil servants, set to commence this December, characterizing it as among the most substantial and favorable raises.
Sarawak's participation in the oil and gas sector has proven fruitful when it contributed a total of 10 billion ringgit in revenue in 2023. Premier of Sarawak Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Aam Baki disclosed that it was obtained from various acquisitions from Petronas.
I am elated that Sarawak's oil and gas sector has yielded significant achievements in recent years. Last year, we secured 10 billion ringgit from Petronas, comprising of sales tax, dividends, and royalty. Record in history.
To further increase the state revenue, Sarawak has forayed into the carbon capture, utilization and storage (CCUS) industry.
Sarawak has also kick-started a promising CCUS industry. We will have 3 landmark carbon capture and storage CCS projects signed this year, namely the Kasawari M1 project, the Langkabah Golok project, and the storage of industrial CO2 emissions M3 project. I would like to assure this August House that the Sarawak government has developed the necessary legal and regulatory framework for the CCS sector to safeguard the rights and environmental safety of Sarawak. All companies wanting to develop and operate CCS in Sarawak must comply to our legal and regulatory framework, including the requirement of Environmental Impact Assessment EIA.
Now, Deputy Premier of Sarawak, Dato' Amar Awang Tengah Ali Hassan, announced that the decentralisation of environmental autonomy under the Malaysia Agreement 1963, MA63, will be implemented in stages. According to the Deputy Premier, the first phase will begin in 2025 with the takeover of governance related to the management of scheduled waste. He added, the management aspects of industrial effluents, air quality control, and environmental impact assessment EIA management will be taken over in subsequent phases.
Bagi memperkasakan pelaksanaan Transfer of Autonomy on Environment under Malaysia Agreements 1963, satu rangka kerja pelaksanaan telah disediakan dan diperaku oleh Lembaga NRB pada 2 Ogos 2023. Rangka kerja tersebut yang berada di bawah selian kementerian ini terdiri daripada jawatan kuasa pemandu, jawatan kuasa teknikal serta 4 jawatan kuasa kerja yang masing-masing bertanggungjawab berkenaan perkara perundangan, sumber manusia, pembangunan sistem dan infrastruktur.
Meanwhile, from the legislative point of view, he said, the Sarawak government is in the process of amending the Natural Resources and Environment Ordinance by adding provisions that will enable the NREB to assume comprehensive environmental autonomy from the federal government. Tengah, who is also the Minister of Natural Resources and Urban Development, said the Sarawak government has also approved a reorganisation of the organisation and human resources requirements to ensure a sufficient and competent workforce. However, if there is a need for the loan or absorption of manpower from the Department of Environment DOE Sarawak to NREB, it will be discussed and scrutinised jointly with the Malaysian Public Service Department and DOE Malaysia before implementation. A total of 75 projects under the Resettlement Schemes SPS and the Village Expansion Scheme SPK have been given the green light under the provisions of the 12 Malaysia Plan 12MP and the People's Project Allocation as of April 30th, 2024. Deputy Premier of Sarawak, Dato' Amar Awang Tengah Ali Hassan, stated that the implementation of these programs is a commitment and concern of the Sarawak government towards the low-income population who need land to build homes.
Sebanyak 7,570 lot kediaman dengan kos pelaksanaan dianggarkan berjumlah 1.219 bilion ringgit Malaysia. Daripada 75 projek tersebut, 19 projek telah siap sepenuhnya mengikut skop pembangunan dan baki 56 projek akan diteruskan sehingga penghujung rancangan Malaysia ke-12.
He made these remarks during the Ministry of Natural Resources and Urban Development's wrap-up session at the Dewan Undangan Negeri Dun Sarawak on Wednesday. He added that the implemented SPS and SPK projects follow upgraded infrastructure specifications like tarred roads, concrete drains, walled plots, and utility systems since May 6, 2018. Moreover, the Sarawak government has also set a land premium payment not exceeding 2,500 ringgit for each residential lot in the SPS and SPK, although the cost of preparing each lot is within the range of 120,000 ringgit to 150,000 ringgit. Now, Meta Platforms Inc. has been asked by the government to provide an explanation regarding its removal of news reports about Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim's meeting with Hamas's top leadership from various local media platforms. Communications Minister Fahmi Fadzil stated during a press conference following the cabinet meeting that the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission MCMC has formally requested clarification from Meta.
Fahmi, who is also the spokesperson for the unity government, said that the two media outlets stated that their social media posts regarding Anwar's meeting with Hamas had been taken down, while another mentioned that its Facebook account had been removed.
Sebagai Menteri Komunikasi, saya kecam tindakan pihak Meta untuk menurunkan artikel ataupun posting daripada media. Dan apatah lagi kerana ini adalah pelaporan tentang lawatan rasmi Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri ke Qatar dan pertemuan dengan sayap politik sebuah organisasi, bukan sayap militan ataupun sayap militeri.
Meanwhile, an earlier report stated that during the Prime Minister's official visit to Qatar, Anwar met with Ismail Haniyeh, the head of Hamas Political Bureau. The purpose was to gain insight into the conflict in the Middle East, particularly the dynamics between Hamas and Israel in Palestine. Fahmi mentioned his intention to personally send a letter to Meta to request an explanation, as he believed that the actions of the US-based IT company had undermined media freedom. He stated that upon reviewing the removed posts from the three media outlets, it was found that they were not as harmful as claimed by Meta. Meanwhile, Fahmi announced plans for a meeting with all social media platform operators scheduled for June to ensure that news reports covering the Prime Minister's official engagements are not subject to removal.
Now, Selangor records the highest sexual crime cases in the past 3 years, with 90% of the perpetrators involving locals. Deputy Director of the Women and Children Sexual Investigation Division D11 of Bukit Aman, Senior Assistant Commissioner of Police Siti Kamsiah Hassan, stated that high population density and economic development are factors influencing the high number of reports in the state.
SAC Siti Kamsiah mentioned that the state also has a population close to the borders of other states such as Negeri Sembilan, Kuala Lumpur and Perak. However, she did not provide detailed statistics or the number of sexual crime cases recorded in Selangor.
Akses kepada negeri Selangor tu yang menyebabkan jenayah tu mudah berlaku, dan juga negeri Selangor ni negeri maju, capaian internet dia mudah dan banyak orang kata facilities lain macam penjara, ada juga berlaku jenayah di penjara kan, dan juga adanya universiti. Jadi orang kata negeri Selangor ni banyak faktor menyebabkan dia menjadi negeri yang penyumbang tertinggi kepada jenayah seksual.
She was met after a dialogue session between the Selangor Police and the community at the Selangor Contingent Police Headquarters on Wednesday. Meanwhile, Selangor Police Chief Datuk Hussein Omar Khan, when commenting on the matter, stated that the high statistics or number of cases are not true reflection of the crime rate, considering the controlled crime situation and the population of Selangor exceeding 7 million.
Dia tinggi dari segi statistik sebab penduduk kita ramai, lebih daripada 7 juta. Tapi kalau kita bahagi per 100,000 penduduk, mungkin dia rendah. Jadi kita tak boleh kata just because figure dia tinggi berbanding dengan negeri lain, jenayah di Selangor tinggi. Tidak. Nombor dia tinggi sebab penduduk di sini ramai, lebih daripada 7 juta.
Now, Indonesian rescuers raced on Wednesday to find dozens of people still unaccounted for after heavy rains caused flash floods and washed volcanic debris into residential areas over the weekend, sweeping away houses and leaving 67 people dead. Hours of torrential rain on Saturday caused mud and rocks to flow into districts near one of Indonesia's most active volcanoes, destroying dozens of houses and damaging roads and mosques. National Disaster Agency Chief Suharyanto said while some of the missing people had been found, 20 still remained missing, with rescuers saying many of the retrieved bodies were found in or around rivers after being swept away by the deluge of volcanic material, mud and rain. He added that heavy equipment was deployed to clear debris from the areas worst hit by flooding and coal lava flows, which have affected transport access in 6 districts. As the search effort continued, volunteers in rubber boats joined rescuers. Wrapping up the Nightline, Germany's skilled trade sector is facing a decline in turnover and the loss of up to 80,000 jobs, which represents about 5.7 million workers. According to the German Skilled Craft Association, ZDH, General Secretary Holger Schwarzenegger, the sector would post a nominal rise in turnover of just 1%, implying a fall in real terms, with consumer inflation currently running at 2.2%.
During the gathering of 53 German chambers of skilled crafts in Erfurt, Schwarzenegger stated while many from the consumer-dependent sector were profiting from a general rise in incomes, construction workers were under pressure and there were increasing problems in the industry. This was mainly caused by bureaucracy, according to a study conducted by Cologne University. The study showed that many who had completed their training in Tvs sectors are very wary of taking the step to self-employment. The head of Erfurt Chamber, Thomas Malcherek, added that Germany is suffering a culture of mistrust. Self-employment must be empowered to boost training activities and economy. According to the ZDH, around 20,000 master craftsmen's examination complete their training every year. It called for vocational training to have the same status as an academic degree.
Those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Henry Gui. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.